Internet, Mogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. Sorry for the absence these last couple of days. I know I've been saying that I would be uploading daily, but to be honest, I felt like taking it a little bit easy these last few days since we're going to be getting the balance patch today. It should actually go up as I'm recording this. Well, I'm literally recording this like 5 minutes before 7 p.m. my time, which is when the notes go out. So right after this, I will be jumping in on that. And yeah, because there's going to be some significant metagame changes happening because of this balance patch, I didn't want to overdo it. I kind of like want to build up my deck building mojo. Let's go with that for when the actual balance changes will be applied. So today I did feel like playing something that I have not played in a while, and that is none other than Yasuo Swain. I believe Yasuo is actually in a very decent spot in this metagame because of the surge of Shadow Isles based control decks. A deck that combines Swain and Leviathan in a very menacing late game, alongside Deny to counter the likes of Vengeance, Ruination, and other high-end removal spells, give us a really solid variant of Swain that fits really well and does a much better job taking on the likes of Trundle and Tryndamere than the original Swain variants with Bilgewater would ever do, right? As we're also running a couple of copies of Spirit's Refuge alongside a full set of Intimidating Roar to allow us to make a comeback and board wipe opposing aggressive decks that spread out really wide. As with Yasuo on the board, we can just intimidate all of them and then just, you know, Omaiwo Mushindaru their heads and go for a potential lifesteal swing as well. In case you guys don't know, when you use Spirit's Refuge at Yasuo and his damaging effect triggers, you will be getting the lifesteal off as well. So Yasuo with Swain is a very neat champion combination because they both synergize with each other. They don't synergize with each other as well as people thought they would when Swain was announced. But I did also undermine this champion combination quite a bit early on as well. I do still really believe in the Yasuo Katarina variant, but I feel like right now Yasuo Swain is potentially the better version or the best way to play Yasuo because of the fact that we can take on, thanks to our Ionia components, we can take on the likes of Trundle decks really well. And on top of this, we can do a decent job against more aggressive decks. And if we run into unit-based mid-range builds, like for example Misfortune Scouts, we actually have a really strong matchup against that, thanks to their lack of interaction as they focus more on developing their board and attacking more than anything. Cards like Intimidating Roar with Yasuo on the board can just be absolutely backbreaking for those sorts of decks. When it comes to our early game, we have a full set of House Spider alongside Fey Blade Twirler, another card that can really skyrocket in attack when combined with the likes of Intimidating Roar, Arachnoid Sentry naturally to combine with the likes of Ravenous Flock, and Yasuo as well. And as you guys can see, we're running a full set of Tasty Faithful. This is more of a meta call as there is a lot of aggro in the ladder. Having a 3 mana 4 attack lifesteal unit is very, very reliable in this environment and puts in the work. Can also help us punish less proactive strategies, as having a unit with 4 attack on turn 3 can go a long way as well. And I think it's good enough to fit this list because of the current meta, but obviously it's a card that we could swap out for something else if there is less aggro and burn running around. And on top of all this, we have obviously a full set of Leviathan. We have a one-off of Minna Swiftfoot, which is actually really good in the meta as well because she can counter, for example, Feel the Rush just single-handedly. She can counter a lot of these late game decks that are using Ladros and the likes, as we can just clean their opponent's board. It can be a very powerful swing as mid-range with Yasuo on board, and I feel like all this justifies her as a one-off in this build alongside Dragon's Rage. I love Dragon's Rage with Swain, I always have, and I think if we're going to combine Ionia with Swain, there's no reason not to play this at least as a one-off. In case you guys don't know, this does trigger Swain's ability, so if you level up Swain with this, or if you're already leveled up, when you strike the opposing Nexus with Swain, his ability will trigger, and therefore you will be hitting everything for 3. So it just leads to one crazy hit that is more feasible thanks to the fact that we are playing Ionia and we can counter their potential you know, counter to our Dragon's Rage play, because it is a very counterable play. It's a very expensive, slow speed spell that can be denied by the opponent just removing the unit that we're targeting with it, right? If we, you know, by going for a Vengeance on Swain. So if we have Dragon Rage alongside a Deny of our own, we can rely on this combo more so than not. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck list right there. Very, very fun to play as usual. I absolutely adore playing Yasuo. In case you're wondering about this random Scorched Earth, is for the Tahm Kench Soraka matchup to make sure that we have some sort of landmark removal that also happens to work out with the rest of our deck, because we are a Swain deck, can find value in other matchups is really important. So I think that justifies it as a one-off. And like I was saying, I just really like this archetype, and I feel like it has a decent spot in the meta right now. And for those of you who love playing Yasuo, it's been a while, so I wanted to share something a little bit new regarding him. And that's basically all I gotta say. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, the games that I got for you. And hopefully for those of you who watched the European Masters and showcased a lot of support towards my casting with Panda, I really appreciate it. It meant the world to me. It was super motivating. And I hope you guys are excited for more tournament action, as I will be casting this Friday again for the European Masters in the Riot Games 2 Twitch channel. So check that out if you want. It's free. Yeah, free's good. And I'll stop there. Have a good one. Enjoy the matches. I'll see you tomorrow. Alright. Time to Omaiwamu Shinderu, our opponents, as we are facing a variant of Shadow Owls here with Demacia, which could mean it's some sort of like aggressive Shadow Owls with Rally, perhaps? Because normally, you know, even like when these decks were actually a thing, they were more often than not a combination of Elise and Hecarim, right? So seeing Kalista instead, I still have an idea. I do feel it is going to be somewhere like that, which makes me want to keep my Tasty Faithful. But Arachnoid Sentry is also a card that I'm not comfortable giving away here. I'm going to drop Double Concussive Palm for now. I'm not sure how important. Yeah, I'm going to keep both. Depending on how my opponent's curve goes, having a 3-mana 4/2 with Lifesteal can really help out. Oh, I don't think I've ever used the monkey before.
I know what
I didn't realize it was a powder monkey, by the way.
Think you're fast? Cute.
Alright.
You won't suffer long.
I'm actually not. Am I gonna block this? I'm actually not gonna block this. I like the idea of resorting to Arachnoid Sentry to pump up my Feyblade Twirler, but I also really do like the idea of carrying over the spell mana so that we can set up Yasuo next turn and then utilize Intimidating Roar with Nopify backup. I'm gonna pass for now. Yeah. That's something I'm completely fine with, like giving my opponent the false sense of security there. Like I said, Intimidating Roar would be really strong here, but obviously we do have to set up the Yasuo first, which means we could be in for a very powerful hit.
Follow the wind.
But watch your back. We have Nopify, so I'm not particularly worried about Yasuo going down here. What I am more concerned about is my opponent disregarding. Okay, so they're going in for an attack.
I alone decide my fate.
I'm gonna go down to 2 here. I could block 1 unit.
Oh, it's on.
I'm gonna go with this. I don't have to worry about something random like Avalanche, even though it wouldn't make much sense in a deck like this. But I do want to prevent as much damage as I can here, while I do set up my engines. And from that point onwards, I can try to adjust. I do like the idea of starting off next turn with my House Spiders, as I will need to spread out that way anyways. And I can use this play to scout out a little bit what my opponent can do. Yeah, this has to be the turn to The problem is with this setup, a single combat really does us dirty. But do we really expect a single combat here? Especially considering they're playing an Allegiance deck? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna go for it. Double Vile Feast, something like that could work, but I'm not gonna play like there's a limit to what you should play around, and at this point we've taken too much damage. The momentum that we're gonna be getting from this Intimidating Roar is too big to just ignore. We'll get rid of the spider and all those. Yes.
Underestimate. I dare you. Now who's got the upper hand?
Destiny wavers.
Destiny wavers.
Underestimate. I dare you.
Look at that power. And now we're threatening a tremendous amount of damage here with our Yasuo leveled up as well. We're not vulnerable to Double Vile Feast anymore, even though that can be applied here, but that would have been applied if they had it, obviously, I think. Oh. Wow, just to stay alive. If I had one more mana, but I don't know if they would have like set themselves wide open like that otherwise. Big turn for us here. Our opponent with 5 cards in hand, 6 cards at the beginning of the next round. Actually had to resort to a Vile Feast there to stay alive, otherwise we would have had exact lethal on him. So as of now, these denies and like Nopifies, very important cards here. Because the way our opponent gets out of this is if they manage to play some sort of like very high impact spell that can turn things around here. Board resets, stuff like that is what we gotta account for here. We're still a couple of turns away from Leviathan, which could still be utilized as a finisher for us under the right circumstances, but we need to prioritize always having Deny open, which means this could be a turn for a tasty Faithful setup here alongside 4 mana open for Deny, because I can't Arachnoid Sentry into Ravenous Flock and Deny at the same time. It all comes down to like how much mana my opponent is spending though, right? Like I am very happy with this current board state. A Withering Whale. We are okay with that, I believe. We are perfectly fine with this.
Looks like I'm ready. Bye-bye.
I just realized I could have played Arachnoid Sentry. That's your boy Swain. We have the ability to counter.
Vision to see what others cannot.
We have the ability to counter a Ruination here. For 6 mana, what can they do? Another Withering Whale is definitely a possibility.
Patience is a tactician's greatest tool.
I think I want a Ravenous Flock here. I may just want to preserve my Ravenous Flock for the late game, though. I'm gonna pass. Like, I don't really have... like, obviously, the clock is ticking, right? But with this Deny in my hand, I feel very confident here. I feel pretty confident. It seems like I'm being a little bit too passive, but I don't believe that's the case. Like, I have a board state that's just capable of just blowing him back in one turn. There's a Risen Mist, which means we don't have to worry about... This is fine.
Who are you?
I could just trade my Feyblade Twirler with that, even though she is a source of...
Want to see these moves up close?
Yeah. The reason why I'm using my Feyblade Twirler there, I'll explain after I make this decision, because it's not an easy decision to make. I only have to worry about Vengeance, really. There's no more threat of Ruination, so even though I lose my ability to Deny, my Nopify can still go a long way here.
Destination in sight. Bring these lads.
So I am going to play the Leviathan. If he has a Vengeance, that's fine. He only gets to trade with 1 card, so I don't see a reason not to drop this here. Especially now that the threat of Ruination is long gone.
I pull the strings.
Let's pass. Because right now, because I am 2 away from leveling up, as the Leviathan hits, I will still stun this.
Victory awaits. I will break them.
Now we attack. We got the Knight back up for a vengeance. And we shut him down, baby! Shut down! Beautiful.
My conflicts end only one way.
Confidence. Self-confidence. Very important trait for a leader. Alright. No Minna showcase, even though it's, I mean, she's like the face of the deck, but she's just basically a one-off, so yeah, we may not like actually play her in today's video at all, but I'm gonna try to see if I can find a good moment for her. So yeah, we just gotta start it. Let's go for another one. All right, Aoi. I believe Aoi is actually in the European Masters, playing for France. I have to look into that because unfortunately, like, one of the downsides of this tournament is that we haven't had like an actual source of like a clean source of like data for like all the participants and everything, which I think you know, should be something, should be one of the priorities really. We are facing what could be an elusive Fizz deck, so I don't want to keep Deny in a matchup like this. I don't feel like it's going to be doing much. I'm also going to drop the Swain. The Tasty Faithful could be pretty important. I'm definitely going to be keeping the Ravenous Flock. Yeah, I'll keep the Tasty Faithful. I like that House Spider right there, for sure. We get to carry over 1 spell mana turn 1. You know, no 1-drops in this deck anyways. So that spell mana is always going to go for Ravenous Flock. Not always, but most of the time. Our opponent needs to play a spell now to be able to connect with Fizz. That is not the case, so we are going to go ahead and develop the Tasty Faithfolk.
I taste purple. Yay.
See what our opponent does. If they develop a unit with 2 attack or more that can trade the Tasty Faithfolk, then we may not attack with it. I could have open attacked with my spiders, but I feel like I can be a little bit more threatening here. Because what this Tasty Faithfolk does is it forces my opponent to play, or curve out rather, into a unit here. Otherwise, I'm happy trading this for Fizz. I'm also happy attacking with this. Honestly, I'm happy attacking with everything. If he wants to trade the Omen Hawk into the Spiderling, that's fine. And he wants to trade Fizz into the Tasty Faithfolk to prevent 4 damage. That is also more than fine by me. Oh. I'm gonna try to kill Fizz. If they have like the spell, then fine. Otherwise, you know, we trade Ravenous Flock. Like, we could trade Ravenous Flock for 1 spell in their hand, or we can take out Fizz there, which I think is very ideal. We don't have anything. Minna could actually be a really big power play if we manage to make the game last that long, because like I said, we are running into elusives. This Zap got buffed.
You think you can escape my money just because you're not streaming?
Oh. How did he know? How did he know that I was recording? The fuck? I'm not streaming by accident. Oh my god, he actually got the timing right. What the hell? Yeah, that threw me off. I'm gonna play Tasty Faithfolk here.
Hello.
Tasty Faithfolk is pretty important in this race because my opponent has a bit of a hard time dealing with it through like spells, right? Unless they play stuff like Avalanche, you know, which would throw me off considering the nature of their deck. They have to block into it with one of their elusive units, which allows me to pick off. Okay, never mind. I think I may want a Spirit's Refuge here, to be honest.
all that glitters.
I'm gonna keep my blocker. Man, I would kill for a Yasuo here. Yasuo would be amazing.
Looks like trouble.
Bit of a problem here. If we did draw Yasuo this matchup, I think it would have been an excellent position. Okay. Twisted Fate is definitely threatening with the level up at this point. But we unfortunately we don't really have much going on here. So we're gonna develop the Arachnoid Sentry, stun, Twist of Fate, and aim to eliminate him. Remove him as a blocker as well, so that we attack with these and try to get a little bit of health back. As we can follow up this with a Intimidating Roar. We'll see. How did I get? I guess back-to-back shared spoils. Yeah, maybe I should have lit off with the Intimidating Roar instead of the Arachnoid Sentry. To be fair.
Walking is strange.
Yeah, it's a problem because I don't have the means to deal with both of these. I think we're pretty screwed at this point. I think in this matchup we really need to draw Yasuo. We gain a little bit of health back.
Okay.
We can aim to attempt to take down this Slippery Wave Rider, though, you know, Troll Chant amongst other things will stop.
Oh boy, here I go.
And from that point onwards, yeah, GG. Good game. We definitely had a chance that matchup. I think if we draw into Yasuo and get a few more of our stuns, but more importantly, like Yasuo, because that deck doesn't have really ways to interact with our Yasuo. So once we get, you know, besides just a Fate, right? So and you know, they can interact with Yasuo like in not so good of a way, basically, because Yasuo is a pretty resilient 4-drop. So if I found Yasuo that matchup and I started going off with stuns, that's definitely a really good matchup, I think. But without that key tool, the elusives are a little bit too much for me to handle, especially considering I have a lot of you know, choices in my deck that are aimed at chump blocking, and I can't really apply chump blocking to elusives. So definitely wish I would have drawn a little bit better, but not a terrible matchup. Not as bad as it seems, at least from that game, because it seems like it's awful. I think it could be a completely different story if we draw a bit differently. And yeah, let's try to redeem ourselves. Let's go for round 3. Alright, King is our next opponent. I assume this is for the Fallen with the Harrowing. Ravenous Flock is definitely a card that I don't really want to mulligan. I'm going to keep this entire hand, honestly. We have a solid 2-drop play with House Spider to develop a little bit of board presence, and then we have good reactive tools.
I'm actually here.
Like Ravenous Flock is just one of the best cards Noxus has to offer right now, in my opinion, and in this deck, obviously, really neat, especially because we can enable it with the Spiderling from House Spider by using it as a chump blocker.
Ready for deployment.
To get a little bit of damage on a beefier unit that we can later knock down with Ravenous Flock here. So
It's dangerous up there. Take this.
we see the Battlesmith right there. This Intimidating Roar is looking sick as hell. The only downside to this
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
is that we don't really have
Reporting in.
Yasuo or Fey Blade Twirler, you know? Either of the two would be nice. fact, it would be fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and just pass here. And I guess cry a little bit because we are not really finding what we need. I guess that's always gonna be like one of the downsides of a deck like this, man. Like if a lot of these stun effects, especially like cards like Intimidating Roar. We do have Deny for that. I could Concussive Palm into Ravenous Flock, and I think I'm definitely gonna do that. Can't really attack right now. They have more solid stats than we do. If they try to go for a 4 Demacia, we will just counter that. Besides that, they got 4 other cards in hand. Yeah, we're just gonna counter. Alright, so 4 cards versus 4 in hand. Their board state is a little bit better than ours, but not a crazy advantage as of now. Sithir going down is always bad news. Our opponent doesn't seem to want to do anything there. We have a Dragon's Rage. This card could actually be pretty good. Why are you doing that? I don't see the point in that. Yeah, I get it. Drawing triple copy of Relentless Pursuit necessarily like that can be a little bit annoying, but at the same time, like the game has only gotten started, and none of us. Yeah, we're in a bit of a stalemate, but that's not gonna last too long. I mean, to be fair, the longer the game goes, and the more time that I have to draw into, you know, my key cards, I do definitely believe I have the upper hand, right? As Yasuo against any sort of like unit-based combat sort of driven strategy is really good. But I didn't have Yasuo yet, and you know, you had a better board than me, so I don't really understand that conceit, but I'll take the W. I'll take the win, baby. All right, let's go for a win. All right, Epiphron. Leona Lux. Now, this is an interesting matchup. Our stuns are very useful. Whenever you see Yasuo with this deck, you keep him in your opening hand. I think if that's something we've learned throughout today's video, it's that. You know, let's drop the Tasty Fatefolk, actually. Let's keep the House Spider and the Ravenous Flock, as we will search for... Deny's good. Deny, more sources of stun. Those are the kind of cards that we want to be getting into. Tasty Fatefolk is more of a tech for aggressive matchups. In this case, this is not an aggressive matchup by any means. It's more of a slow-paced mid-range war, and it's going to be very value-centered, right? So even though I said prior that we have good matchup against unit-based mid-range decks, it's not as unit-based as other mid-range builds. It has a lot of spells to function with Lux, and utilizes Leona to just kind of like slow down the early to mid-game. Which means that our stuns may not be the final say here. Our opponent may have ways to navigate around them, multiple single combats, amongst other things. Cool story, girl. Just absolutely fascinating. I will attack with the House Spider. I know I have access to Arachnoid Sentry alongside Ravenous Flock, but I am not going to be resorting to that. I do like to see a second Yasuo there.
Dawn has arrived. Behold the sun's holy light.
Is a leaf's only purpose to fall?
Yasuo with the deep
Feel
questions.
the sun's glory.
I am surprised there. I am going to attempt to Ravenous Flock here. We see a ranged resolve, alright. Now we have a total of 7 mana, which means we can play Arachnid Sentry alongside Deny. We could also open up with an attack here, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong. I'm gonna go with the Arachnid Sentry play. The thing is, he could have another Leona, right? Knock her out. But again, another Leona could go down here and hold our attack.
Warriors of the Raharaka, time is now.
Or
We'll
that.
follow you to the edge of daybreak.
Or that. Definitely, there's definitely an argument for going for an attack there, but I don't know if they're running stuff like Riposte. I'm not sure that's a thing though. This stops our attack. Mina can be really good. This is the kind of matchup in which, you know, Mina can really shine. We'll see though. They could be playing cards like Bastion. This could be a good turn to play Swain, depending on what they do.
The dawn has arrived.
May it never leave.
Behold the divine power of the sun. Glorious light rains down.
Even I have good days.
Glory, courage,
Excuses for war. We're gonna play Swain here with Deny backup. Also another Steel Tempest here as well. Bit of an awkward turn for us though, because we don't really have a good attack here either. Let's think. I know I have Might, and that can definitely go a long way. I'm gonna miss.
The sun is shining. We should too.
I taste purple. Yay.
Bit of an awkward situation to be in here. They're able to set up Lux, and we don't really have a way to deal with that. Dragon's Rage is actually really, it's potentially really good. Especially since I can combine it with Deny, this could be really powerful. But I do need for my opponent to give me a little bit more room to work around with here. Alright, so if I Dragon's Rage, their way of interacting with this would have to be Concerted Strike, which means that I can go for a Deny onto that.
Sunlight blinds.
I do all right.
Which means I gotta go with this. This allows me to level up Swain. If they respond with a Concerted Strike,
Is the first of many weaknesses.
we will counter. That's fine.
Bleed for Noxus. Empire above all. Such little lies.
The power! Oh my god, that combo is too good! I know, my friend. Oh man, I love that. That's why I love running Dragon's Rage as a one-off with this. Like, there's always a justification for it, man.
May our light shine forever.
Okay, so I gotta think about things here. Like, do I want to play Yasuo now? I want to have the Deny open at all times, so
Behold the sun's holy light.
Bleed for Noxus.
I'm gonna carry over my mana. keep you in the back. I'm gonna attack with these two.
Gaze into the light. Okay.
We're gonna open attack because otherwise Leona's gonna stop us anyways. And we want some damage on their board. We don't have to worry about like a big Aurelian Soul coming down here. So we just need to do everything that we can so that we set up a safe Leviathan here. If they have that, yeah, I'm gonna play Leviathan.
Destination in sight. Bring these lands.
Not only does Leviathan, you know, start the end game, like basically provide for a win condition, it also draws us another Swain that gives us a Ravenous Flock that can allow us to deal with Leona potentially. If they resort to a Concerted Strike, I will counter, because once I countered Concerted Strike with Deny, they can play another one this turn, which means that they would need something like double single combat to deal with this. Or, you know, they could have like Spacey Sketcher, right? And find Equinox, like that's also a possibility. But I feel like instead of dropping Yasuo like last turn and dropping Leviathan now, I can play Yasuo next and always have that Deny, and then utilize a Mina to go for the win on my next attack turn. So that's the idea, right? Like next turn I will develop Yasuo alongside having my Deny open and potentially Concussive Palm. Whoa. Single combat could be a thing here. Single combat could very well be a thing. They want to use it onto this.
Sunlight launch.
Darken the skies.
Yeah, they want to single combat there. I think I definitely want to Deny here, right? Even though it's not a great Deny, there are other tools that or usages that we could have for it. But I am gonna counter it.
Fire! I will break them.
Stun all of their attackers, as we do get the level up for Yasuo as well, which can allow us to do some really nasty stuff. We have lost the Deny though, and I wanted to use my Deny on a Concerted Strike. I didn't want to have to use it on a single combat. That doesn't feel great. My opponent definitely gained some mana tempo there, and when we do have the Swain Leviathan combo, that's a cheap as fused Firebrand. Yeah, he actually got the Daybreak and the Nightfall from this. That's hilarious.
Destiny's waiting. Death is like the wind, always by my side.
I could play Mina here, but I don't see the point. I want to develop Yasuo instead. I can take the hit from this. I don't mind at all. Right now I have a mana disadvantage, and I am very happy with this current board state, so I will pass. I see no reason to do otherwise. We see a Concerted Strike here, and that's where things get interesting. I could do this. I could go for a Concussive Palm here. Or I could go for a Spirit's Refuge. But I think, I mean, if I go Concussive Palm, he needs a single combat. He needs a single combat with one of these, so I'm gonna do this, yeah. Because I also have a Ravenous Flock to follow that up with. So this Yasuo on the board, yeah, allows me to pick that off. Beautiful. Beautiful. We still survive that. If they try to single combat with anything that's not the fused Firebrand, we'll shut him down, and we got him! Mama, we got him! Beautiful.
I will regain my honor.
Honor regained. From meme to dream. Or from... Yeah, that probably isn't right. Whatever. Okay. Oh, and we would progress the event. To add to like my already like billion shard collection. Not bad. What do I even have left with this? I have 3 left. So the KDA card back, which I probably will not use ever. No offense to those of you who really like it. The Pop to Stella, which seems like it's like a unicorn on crack, really. Like it moves a little bit weird. Like the glitching tail is. You're alright. You checked your blood pressure. And the side card backs as well. So yeah, honestly, like I already got everything that I wanted out of this event. So yeah, we're good with that. Really like that game, man. Really like that as a showcase of like a really solid mid-range war, and we were very patient there. We didn't get like the dream deny that we wanted, but even then it was actually very clutch. That's one of the perks of combining Swain with Yasuo is access to deny, disruption, and Notify as well. So that your vulnerability to board wipes, for example, and hard and single target removal like Vengeance is actually a thing. Like you have the ability to counteract that, right? And I feel like for a deck that utilizes Swain and Leviathan as a win con, that's always going to be a very, very viable alternative. That's why I really like this deck. And I know I didn't give you guys a long video today, but I am recording this a little bit late. Like I probably will have explained in the deck tech. I'm taking it a little bit easy these last few days because the new balance patch is going out. In fact, as I am ending recording this video, the balance patch notes will go live like 5 minutes from now. So really excited for that. And yeah, I'm working on a lot of things. I'm gonna be getting Progress Day back in it in case you guys are excited for that. And we may very well use this balance patch to get it rolling again with guest starring with the guest star, let's go with that, in Ruben, who is the lead live balance guy from Riot. And yeah, very, very excited for that. So I kind of like want to, you know, save up my energy for all the card changes and the new metagame that will be coming to us very, very soon. And that's why I've been a little bit more chill these days. But I probably will have gone through this in the deck tech anyway. So hope you guys enjoyed some good old Yasuo Swain. I think its spot in the meta is actually pretty damn decent. And it's always a very, very fun deck to play. Yasuo is, let the meme comes, one of my favorite champions. I don't care what you say, he is. And it's been a while since I played him, so I'm happy I did. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. The new patch notes are coming, and hopefully it's a good surprise. Like, I'm actually a little bit anxious, not gonna lie. And also, the tournament's still going on. I'm gonna be casting again on Friday, in case you guys don't know, in Twitch channel Riot Games 2, as we will be continuing the European Masters, and that is basically it. Have a solid day. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily content. Or, you know, mostly daily. I'll see you guys around.